What if the very energy you've been taught to suppress, ignore, or recklessly indulge is actually the key to your greatness? We live in a world that's mastered the art of distraction. Every swipe, every scroll, every notification is designed to pull your attention outward, away from your inner power. Desire is everywhere. It's marketed, monetized, and manipulated. But rarely is it understood. Sexual energy, the most primal, potent force within us, has been reduced to entertainment, addiction, and escape. We're told to chase pleasure, but never taught how to harness it. We're told to be ashamed of our urges or to indulge them without restraint. And in this confusion, we lose something sacred, our ability to direct our own life force. Look around. So many are stuck in cycles of emptiness. They chase dopamine hits, but feel hollow. They seek connection, but remain unfulfilled. They have dreams, but no drive. Why? Because they've never learned to master their energy. They've never been shown that the very force they waste daily could be the fuel for their legacy. This isn't just about lust. It's about power. Creative power. Spiritual power. The power to build, to lead, to transform. And yet, most men walk through life unaware that they're leaking this power through habits, through distractions, through unconscious choices. The truth is simple, but radical. Your sexual energy is sacred. It's not something to be feared or suppressed. It's something to be understood, honored, and redirected. When you learn to transmute this energy, to channel it into your goals, your purpose, your creativity, you become unstoppable. But first, you must confront the central problem. You've been taught to be a servant of impulse. You've been conditioned to react, not to reflect. To consume, not to create. To chase pleasure, not to pursue purpose. This video and this channel exists to break that cycle. We're here to teach you how to reclaim your energy, to show you that discipline isn't denial, it's divine direction. That mastery over desire isn't repression, it's liberation. That transmutation isn't just a concept, it's a lifestyle. You are not here to be a slave to lust. You are here to become a sovereign man, a creator, a builder of legacy. And that journey begins with awareness. It begins with asking the hard questions. What am I doing with my energy? What am I building with my life force? Am I leaking power or channeling it? Because here's the truth. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, you're building something. Every time you redirect your energy from impulse to intention, you're sculpting your future. Every act of transmutation is a brick in the foundation of your legacy. This is the path of the awakened man. The man who no longer fears his desires but transforms them. The man who no longer runs from his shadow but integrates it. The man who no longer seeks validation but lives from vision. So if you're tired of feeling scattered, if you're ready to rise above the noise, if you're ready to turn lust into legacy, welcome to Shadow to Self. Your transformation begins now. The blueprint of transmutation. A reason why some men rise above the noise, building empires, shaping history, leaving legacies that echo through time. It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's energy, mastered, directed, and transmuted. Napoleon Hill, in his legendary book Think and Grow Rich, revealed a principle that most readers overlook. A principle so potent, so radical that it's often dismissed or misunderstood. He called it sexual transmutation, the conscious redirection of sexual energy into creative and productive power. Hill studied the lives of the most successful men of his time, inventors, industrialists, artists, leaders, and he found a common thread. They were not devoid of desire. In fact, they were often intensely passionate, but they had learned to channel that energy, to convert it into ambition, focus, and drive. This wasn't about repression. It was about transformation. Sexual energy is the most concentrated form of life force we possess. It's the energy that creates life. And when it's not spilled, scattered, or wasted, it becomes rocket fuel. It becomes the fire behind vision, the engine behind discipline, the spark behind genius. Hill wrote, "The transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower, to be used for the transformation of desire into some other form of activity. This is the blueprint of Greatness. Imagine this energy as a river. Most men let it flood into temporary pleasure, moments of escape, indulgence, or fantasy. But the sovereign man builds a dam. He redirects the flow. He irrigates his dreams, nourishes his goals, and powers his purpose. This is not easy. It requires awareness. It requires discipline. It requires a deep understanding of your own inner fire and the courage to master it. But the rewards are profound. When you begin to transmute your sexual energy, you'll notice something shift. Your mind becomes clearer. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence grows. You begin to move with intention, not impulse. You begin to build, not chase. This is why so many ancient traditions, from yogic practices to esoteric teachings, emphasized celibacy, retention, and energy mastery. Not as a punishment, but as a path to power. Hill's insight wasn't just philosophical. It was practical. He saw that men who mastered their energy became magnetic. They had presence. They had drive. They had the ability to persist, to create, to lead. And here's the truth. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need to suppress your nature. You simply need to redirect it. Every time you choose to hold your energy, you're choosing to invest in your future. Every time you resist the pull of distraction, you're choosing to build your legacy. Every time you transmute desire into discipline, you're choosing greatness. This is the blueprint. Not just for wealth, but for mastery, for impact, for transformation. So ask yourself, what am I doing with my energy? Am I wasting it or wielding it? Am I chasing pleasure or building purpose? Because the men who change the world are not the ones who avoid desire. They are the ones who master it. And now, you have the same choice. The map of the soul of Napoleon Hill gave us the blueprint for success. Carl Jung gave us the map of the soul, where Hill spoke of transmutation as a practical tool for achievement. Jung went deeper into the psyche, into the unconscious, into the sacred terrain of transformation. He called it sublimation, the psychological process of channeling primal energy into elevated, creative, and spiritual expressions. To Jung, sexual energy wasn't just fuel for ambition. It was the raw material of the soul's evolution. It was the fire that could either consume you or illuminate you. Sublimation is not suppression. That distinction is vital. Suppression is denial. It's the act of pushing something down, pretending it doesn't exist. It leads to shame, guilt, and fragmentation. Suppressed energy doesn't disappear, it festers. It leaks out in unhealthy ways. It becomes addiction, rage, anxiety, or depression, but sublimation is transformation. It's conscious. It's creative. It's the art of taking something raw and refining it into something radiant. It's the alchemy of turning base instincts into gold, into poetry, music, architecture, leadership, love. Jung believed that every human being carries within them a shadow, the unconscious, part of the psyche that holds our repressed desires, fears, and instincts. And within that shadow lies immense power. Not evil, not shame, but potential. Your shadow self is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It holds the keys to your creativity, your passion, your authenticity, but only if you're willing to confront it, to integrate it, to listen to what it's trying to tell you. Most people run from their shadow. They fear their desires. They suppress their impulses. They live in denial, and in doing so, they cut themselves off from their own life force. But the awakened man walks into the shadow. He meets his primal energy face to face. And instead of fearing it, he channels it. He turns lust into art. He turns rage into leadership. He turns chaos into clarity. This is the path of sublimation. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. When you begin to sublimate your sexual energy, you start to notice a shift in your creative power. Ideas flow more freely. Your intuition sharpens. Your presence deepens. You begin to express yourself not from ego, but from essence. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're aligned. You're no longer leaking energy. You're radiating it. This is why Jung's teachings are so vital for the modern man. In a world that encouraged suppression or indulgence, sublimation offers a third path, the path of integration, the path of transformation. So ask yourself, what parts of me have I suppressed? What desires am I afraid to face? What creative power lies dormant within my shadow? Because the truth is, your greatest gifts are often hidden in the places you've been taught to avoid. And when you reclaim them, when you sublimate them, you become a force of nature. You become a man who doesn't just chase success, but embodies depth, wisdom, and purpose. This is the alchemical secret, the sacred art of turning lust into legacy. Not by denying your energy, but by elevating it, and now you're ready to walk that path. The sovereign man, there comes a moment in every man's life when he must choose to remain a servant of impulse, or to rise as a sovereign. This is not a metaphor, it's a spiritual crossroads, a psychological threshold, a sacred invitation, because once you understand the power of your energy, once you've seen how desire can be transmuted into drive, how shadow can become light, how chaos can become clarity, you can no longer pretend to be powerless. You can no longer live unconsciously. You can no longer leak your legacy one impulse at a time. The sovereign man is not perfect. He is aware. He is disciplined. He is intentional. He doesn't suppress his desires. He commands them. He doesn't run from his shadow. He integrates it. He doesn't chase pleasure. He builds purpose. This is the sacred act of transmutation. It's not just a technique. It's a lifestyle, a devotion, a daily practice of reclaiming your energy and redirecting it toward your highest vision. To walk this path is to say, I will no longer be ruled by the world outside me. I will master the world within. It's a declaration of sovereignty, of self-leadership, of divine masculinity. And here's the truth. The world needs sovereign men. Men who are grounded, clear, and creative. Men who build, protect, and inspire. Men who don't just consume, but contribute. Men who don't just exist, but embody, because when you master your energy, you become magnetic. You become a lighthouse in a storm. You become a force of nature, not because you dominate, but because you're aligned. Your presence becomes powerful. Your words carry weight. Your actions ripple through time. This is legacy. Legacy is not just what you leave behind. It's what you live now. It's the energy you carry into every room. It's the discipline you bring to every moment. It's the clarity that guides your decisions, your relationships, your creations, and it all begins with a choice. So ask yourself, am I living as a servant of impulse or as a sovereign of intention? Am I leaking my energy or leading with it? Am I chasing temporary highs or building eternal impact? Because the path of the sovereign man is not easy. It requires sacrifice. It requires solitude. It requires radical honesty. But it also offers something no fleeting pleasure ever could: freedom. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind. It's who you become. A man of power, purpose, and peace. The embodiment of legacy or legacy isn't just a list of accomplishments. It's not the money you earn, the titles you hold, or the things you accumulate. Those fade. They're temporary. What truly endures is the man you become in the process, the depth of your character, the clarity of your vision, and the strength of your spirit. Legacy is not built in a moment. It's forged in silence, in struggle, in the choices you make when no one is watching. It's the discipline to rise when you feel weak, the courage to walk away from distraction, the wisdom to choose purpose over pleasure. To become a man of power is not to dominate others. It's to master yourself. It's to hold your energy, your focus, your emotions, and direct them with intention. True power is quiet. It's stable. It's the kind of presence that doesn't need to shout to be felt. To become a man of purpose is to live with direction. To know why you're here, what you're building, and who you're becoming. It's waking up each day with a mission that's bigger than your impulses. It's choosing legacy over lust, vision over vanity. And to become a man of peace is to be rooted, to be unshaken by chaos, to walk through life with a calm mind and a clear heart. Peace isn't the absence of desire, it's the integration of it. It's knowing your shadow, honoring your energy, and using it to create rather than consume. This is the path of the sovereign man. The man who doesn't just leave behind a legacy, he embodies it. Every word, every action, every moment becomes a reflection of the inner transformation he's undergone. So, when you think of legacy, don't just think of what you'll leave behind. Think of who you're becoming. Because the world doesn't need more men chasing status. It needs more men becoming symbols of strength, clarity, and truth, and that begins with you.